in life, having guidance on how to do things is really important. I believe in learning from different people, taking bits and pieces, and coming up with your own thing. I know this is something a lot of people can't relate to, but I learned this early on when I was a salsa dancer. At first, when I started salsa dancing, I admired a couple so much. I wanted to dance like them. I just wanted to train with them. I didn't want to learn from anybody else. And after probably a couple years of working with them, I realized, wow, there are so many ways to interpret the music, even though they're just 8 beats to the music. People's bodies move differently, the way that they teach, the techniques that they have, the tricks that they have. And that put me on this journey of really wanting to learn from different people. And I was able to adapt to different styles and kind of come up with my own, which is so magnificent because if you ever go dancing, whether it's salsa dancing or another kind of dance, there is usually like a core basic technique that you use. But when you go out and watch people on the dance floor as they listen to the music, they take that basic and interpret it with their body and how they hear the music and how they're feeling. It's such a beautiful thing. And I've learned that to take that on with my own life too, even with style, with business. There are people I look up to, mentors I've had, people I admire. I learn from all of them and pick through and kind of make something my own. The reason why I'm sharing this today is, as you can see, the topic is the 3 things that I don't do when I'm styling clients. And these are things that are going to shock you. Let me just say, these are things that are going to shock you because I know people have this perception of like rules and how a stylist should be and work with people, but it's really different with every client I work with. So I'm going to break it down on the top 3 things I do not do when I'm styling clients. And it's interesting because when I have sessions with people, they'll ask me, do you do this? Do you do that? I'm like, well, let me just share with you my technique and how I go about it. But I know you're probably wondering what these 3 things are. So let me just share them with you. And then we'll go through and you can listen and get all the details to hear like, why is she saying that? Why doesn't she follow that rule? Number 1, when I work with clients, I do not do an in-depth color analysis. That's a shocker, and I'll talk more about it. But I thought that for this podcast episode, I might give you like a sneak peek of the 3 topics, and then you can listen in and find the one that you really want to get to. So number 1 is I do not do an in-depth color analysis. Number 2, I don't always follow the rules about how to dress your body type. Number 3, you don't just need to shop for pieces that fit. So let's start at the top with the in-depth color analysis. I know it used to play a big role, I think, in fashion years ago. And people used to get their colors done. They look at your hair, your eyes, your skin tone, and then they recommend different colors. And they do have a modern way of doing this online. I'm not sure of the process actually because I haven't personally done it, but I think you might send in a picture and then you get a card that shows you these are the colors that you should wear. And then it tells you like this one makes you feel spicy, this one is your peaceful calm color, and they give you like the 5 colors that give like different meanings. And I think that this idea is really fun. I mean, who doesn't like to take a quiz or share a picture and be like, oh my gosh, what are they going to say about me? I think it's a fun idea. But I'm not somebody that does that with my clients, and I'm going to share with you why. So in fashion and design, every season, if you go into a store right now, and you go into like 3 stores actually, you're going to notice a pattern in the color palette. So there is a company, I'm not going to go in, there's so much I could share with history and companies and stuff, but in fashion and interior design, Pantone sets the colors of every season. And as a stylist and designers, interior designers, we're just waiting to see what the Pantone colors are. So they kind of set the trend of what to look for the season. These are what the fabrics that are out, what they're going to be like, the colors, the textures, all of that. So when they come out, you get to see what is actually going to be available to work with. And if you get your colors done, it might be confusing because you'll go in the store with your little card and your little colors, and you're walking around trying to match things up, and then you don't find what you're looking for. Like, I can't even imagine how frustrating that is. Like, if you can't even imagine going around with a card of colors and seeing what matches you, think about that time that you've gone shopping and you had like this very specific shoe that you wanted. Like, it was a certain height, a certain color, a certain toe box. And then you go into the store and you're like, what just happened? Why is this shoe not existing? I made it in my head. It's something I used to own, and I think it would go with everything. So it's similar to that, where you can't find that shoe that you had used and loved years ago because that's not what people are wearing now. That's not what designers are making. And that's where the color scheme comes into play. If you get your colors done and you go into the stores, you might be frustrated if you don't find it, and then you're confused, or then you don't shop, and then you don't even try anything on because you're like, why am I going to try something on when these are my colors that I need to look for? So going through the process with clients, this is what I do instead of doing like this in-depth color analysis. Obviously, there are colors that look good on you and colors that don't. And I find with clients that the colors that do look good, like, they know if they've been trying on different things, they just know. And I could tell when they are lit up by a color. When clients don't feel good in a color, you definitely know. They're kind of like looking at themselves. They have to stand back in the mirror. They're questioning the piece. When a color doesn't work for someone, they question it. You just know because you could tell they don't feel good. They feel uncomfortable in that color. So when I work with clients, I choose color palettes that, one, complement them. Two, I go also through the process of figuring out if there's any colors that they associate with that they don't like. So for example, if someone has a family relative that always wears like this bright red color, and they're like, I cannot wear bright red because every time I see it, I think of this person in my family. I don't want to dress like them. There's little things like that that people think of when they see color as well. So that comes into play. And when a client is just wearing neutrals, which happens a lot, neutrals are very safe for people. And they like to think like, well, maybe even if I don't completely like it or feel good in neutrals, I'm just going to wear it because it feels safe and I know it all goes together. So when I work with clients that feel safe in their neutrals, I know how to take it up a notch so that they don't feel uncomfortable and it feels like too over the top or bright, because that's important to keep in mind too when you think of color. If someone's personality is more toned down, you can't have them in something crazy and bright and colorful because they're going to get way too much attention and they might feel uncomfortable. And if you have someone with a big personality, having really dark colors or things that are toned down also doesn't work because you want them to light up the room, not just with their personality, but with what they're wearing. I have such a great example that just happened over the weekend. I have a new client I just started working with who is so wonderful. She is like this creative soul. If you've taken my style personality test, she is definitely the creative heart style personality. She is somebody that really enjoys color, print, texture, anything unique. And we had to go through her closet for 4.5 hours to get through everything. When I work with clients, the typical time is 30 minutes to an hour because it's just a good way of me getting to know you. Not all clients really want a deep dive in your closet, but if you do and you want to go through every single piece, definitely takes longer. So I'm in her closet. We're trying a ton of things on. As we're trying on the pieces that look so good, it's a lot easier to make decisions on what doesn't look as great, what doesn't feel as good, and why. And she put on this just beautiful, it was like a vintage DVF. If you don't know who DVF is, it's Diane von Furstenberg, a vintage DVF wrap dress. And let me just tell you, classic pieces just stand the test of time. This one, it still fit her. There was one that we did have to give away that was gorgeous. It was like a red and navy and white. But even with the wrap dress, you know, with time, as we get wider or we gain a little bit of weight, it just showed too much of her boobs. It like almost showed her nipples. We're like, we're not even gonna put a tank top under that. But with this one, when she tried it on, even though it's been years, it still worked. She's still able to wear it. It's still able to close. And it was a beautiful, like a bright pink and a bright orange print, a large print on a white background. This color scheme, she did not have anything else in her closet in these color combinations or that were this bright. They fit her perfect. She even looked in the mirror and was just like in shock that she hadn't pulled it out because she had so much clothing that was cluttering her closet that she couldn't clearly see what she really had to work with and what she could wear out when she wanted to dress up. And this piece was one that I put on the forefront. I was like, this piece is something that we want to strive for, especially for her pieces that she's going to wear when she goes on dates. You want something that's attention grabbing, that's memorable, that someone is going to be like, you know what? I love that dress, that personality. Just she walked in the room and she just got my attention. You want that. You want someone to see you like the way that you see yourself when you get dressed up and feel so good. And I took notes that when she wears clothing, we need to have some brighter colors because after she tried that on, it was clear to see that some of the toned down colors, yes, she could pull off, but it didn't light her up like that piece. And we want to make sure that we're very intentional with the shopping and the majority of your closet are pieces that like really light you up. Another thing that we found during the session is that when she wore black, it was just overwhelming on her body. It like brought down her personality. It brought down her style. She kind of got lost in a piece that was all black. And so we took out, she had this turtleneck dress that we had to take out because that was just like so much. But then this is the thing where it's like trying different colors and seeing how different things fit. Then we did try on this very sheer, beautiful, I think it was like a old Nanette Lepore top that had a little bit of ruffle. It was sheer. It had a more open neckline, kind of like what I'm wearing right now, like a more open neckline. And this piece, she was able to pull off. And I think it was the sheer in the black. And it was so flowy. It was like a very soft fabric. It was see-through, so she had to wear a tank top underneath. And this piece was just gorgeous. And she could dress it up with some heels and a faux leather legging or something. So we definitely kept that piece. So in the end, as you can tell, like going through the process of really defining what colors you like, what lights you up, what you want to look for is really important. And also figuring out like, what do you wear? And you're like, oh my gosh, I feel blah, or I feel like I'm being washed out, or I feel lost. When there's pieces that those words come to mind, you don't want to wear that. You don't want to feel that way and feel self-conscious when you're wearing those colors. So you can even make a list so that you remember. Colors also, I've been doing this for 14 years. I've been a personal stylist for 14 years. And so there are clients I've worked with from the beginning, and even the clients I haven't worked with, I've worked with enough time where I've seen them get older and their body change and their life change. And as our bodies change, some of us start to lose some color in our skin. The pigment starts to change a little bit. Our hair color starts to change as well. So there's other elements that come into play with your color palette that you want to reevaluate later on. The colors that you're wearing right now might not be the exact colors that you feel good wearing or will even work for you 10 years from now. So it's always important to just, just check in here and there when you're trying things on, make sure you still feel good in those colors that you're wearing. And it's not that I don't believe in getting your colors done. Of course, if you get your colors done, it's super fun and you can have your little card with you and have it, maybe it's a good guide for you, but it's not the only guide I want you to have. I want you to see how you look and feel in your own clothing as well. And if you do already have a color guide that you have done, circle your favorites if you've tried them. So you can keep in mind, like, these ones feel really good. Maybe put an X on the ones that you tried and you're like, doesn't fit my personal style, my personality, or how I want to show up. Just so that you know what works for you. Let's get to number 2. Following the rules to dressing your body type. So this is a really important one. I mean, I almost actually just did a podcast episode on this because there's a lot I can talk about, but I decided I'm going to do that another day. And kind of like the colors, the rules of dressing your body type. Yes, I know there are rules. People get really excited when you give them a formula and you give them a rule. I'm not saying I don't do this at all. Like when I'm with my clients, I guess with the title of the podcast, it's not that I don't do it at all. It's just I have my own way of going through the process with you. I believe in you making your own rules. And that's through trial and error. So if you do have a guide, and I do have guides for my clients, obviously, I have the guide to dress your body type, the guide to dress your style personality, all those things. But it doesn't mean that every single thing that I put on there is going to work for you. It's a guide. It's a guide, which means that you have to go through and you figure out what works best for you. I think that buying clothing is such an interesting process mentally as both men and women. We often think that our bodies are so different and so unique from everybody else's. Like when I hop on a call with somebody that's new, they're like, let me tell you, I got really wide shoulders. My butt is huge. My boobs are small. Like my body is just so different from everybody's. I hear that a lot. And they explain like all the parts of their body that are just so different. And let me tell you, your body is your body. The parts of your body that you feel good about, you're going to want to accentuate. The parts of your body you don't feel the best about, you're going to want to conceal. So the way that body types are put together is more of like this preconception of what the ultimate body for a woman should look like, which is more of like an hourglass, like the defined waist, a bit bigger bust, and then some hips, which obviously not all of us fit into that category. And when I was scrolling through Instagram the other day, I wish I remembered who posted it. It wasn't a stylist. It was somebody that really liked fashion. And on Instagram, this woman said, well, what if you feel good just wearing what you want to wear? Why do I have to feel limited to follow rules of how my body should look and what shape it should be? And that really opened my mind to think about this and how I've worked with clients in the past. And even now it's like, yes, I do take your body type into consideration, but as we work together, I want to know more about you and what you're feeling good about. I know a lot of women, and I guess that's where the body type thing comes into play. There are the majority of women that when they have bigger hips, they want to conceal them. They want to wear darker colors, which is totally fine. Like, yes, do that if that makes you feel better and you feel put together that way. But then I do have women that have the bigger hips and they're like, you know what? These are my hips. I feel really good in it. I'm going to do a lighter colored pant and I'm fine with that. So it really is what works best for you. When you look at yourself in the mirror, that you're not like thinking about, oh my gosh, why did I pick these pants today? I knew I wouldn't feel good in them, even if they fit and they're supposed to fit my body type with like the high waist. I don't like them. And even for myself, like giving an example, because just to show you how you can follow rules and break them, I follow some and I break some too. My body type is a rectangle. I'm very straight. I do not have defined like little waist or anything. I'm pretty much just straight. And so for me, my style, my personality, I am very feminine. I love pieces that make me feel feminine and powerful. And so I do follow that part in the rules of the body types of being a rectangle shape and defining your waist by putting a belt. If you have a dress, you can put that on. You can do a high waist pant and a fitted top to define your waist and other multiple things. And I enjoy doing that because when I have really straight things, I feel like I have a boyish figure, where there are other people that are rectangle shaped that they don't need to follow that and define their waist. Especially I find with the younger generation, a lot of the younger women in their 20s and early 30s, their perception of body type and having to dress by the body type formula is very different. They enjoy boxier, looser fitting pieces, and it looks good on them because they feel good wearing it. And they're not following any body type thing. They're just feeling good in it. So somebody with the rectangle figure, it's like a no-no to wear that slip dress and like a boxy shirt over it. But if you can pull that off, it's like, why not? It does look good. It is on trend. That is where style is heading right now anyways. It's more boxy pieces, things that are loose. Again, it doesn't mean you have to follow that. And so you have to find what works best for you and your body type. And the part that I actually break in rules is that I'm petite. I'm like, maybe I've shrunk. I think I'm like 5'3". I'm not considered completely like petite size. Like if I buy a petite pant, it's not the right seam on me or anything, but I am petite and I notice that a lot of things I need hemmed, like on my arms, my legs, all of that. Anyways, as a petite person, they say do not wear crew necks, do not wear turtlenecks because it makes you look smaller or something. And I'm like, I do that all the time. One of my favorite sweaters last season was a turtleneck. I had one, I had a few actually. There were a few turtlenecks I really enjoyed wearing, and they were soft, they were comfortable. Because I have a smaller chest, I think I look good in a crew neck. I also look good in a turtleneck. Obviously, I'm not going to break my body apart completely when I'm doing that and do like a white pant and this dark black turtleneck, because that would definitely cut me off as a petite person. But I still rock a turtleneck and I feel really good. So I wear it, and that's a rule that people shouldn't follow. Another example I want to share is that it's very interesting. Like some of my plus size clients can explore more and feel so good in their body than some of my clients that are a size 4. And with them, it's like when they get to a point, any woman, whether you're plus size or a size 4, when you get to this point where you feel good with your body, you're like, you know what? I don't mind showing my arms. I don't need like big muscular arms. Like these are my arms and I feel good with my arms. So I'm going to wear something that shows my arms a bit. You can explore different like styles that are no-goes. Like people are like, oh, you can't wear statement pieces as a plus size woman. And so my plus size women love a good statement piece, love a good print, love some great color. And unfortunately, they're limited to their options because there aren't that much pieces to choose from. So usually with my plus size clients, if they really enjoy statement pieces, it's like nice jewelry, some cool shoes, the fun jackets, but usually the tops tend to be slightly more plain. And yeah, dressing your body type, I think is such an interesting topic because there's so many ways to go around it. And my advice, and when I'm working with my clients as a personal shopper, is that we get to make your own rules. Of course, there's a lot that get crossed off the list of dressing your body type. But like I said, some of my clients in their early 20s and 30s, they're really embracing their body as is and their personality. And so this sort of like dressing your body type kind of goes out the door. They just wear pieces they feel good wearing, and it looks good how they put it together, how we put it together when we're shopping together. So what I do as a stylist is that if there are parts of your body that you don't feel comfortable with, then of course we're going to find ways that we can like sort of conceal it. So it'll be like the right cuts to the pants or the dress or darker colors in that area so you don't feel self-conscious. And then the parts that you do really like and you do want to accentuate, adding the extra ruffle, the print, the color, and making sure that we break this up in a way that works the best for you. So when you go and read a book next time, or you go online and you're learning about body types and trying to dress yourself, try them on first before you check off what you like for you and what you don't like for you, because that's what personal style is. It is customized to you. And use these guides of body type just as a guide, and you don't need to do it like rule by rule. Number 3, this is the last one, and it is an important one, and I know everybody has experienced this. So it is shopping for pieces that quote unquote fit. And this is why I don't always, with my clients, buy things that just fit. So just because something fits like a glove doesn't mean it's for you. Like when you've shopped at a store, you've probably experienced this if you've gone shopping with like your best friends, your family, your mother-in-law, or just somebody at the store was helping you shop and they picked something out for you and you're thinking like, you know what? I don't know about that. I don't know about that piece. And you try it on and then you walk out of the fitting room and everybody's like, oh my God, it fits you like a glove. You've got to take that. And you know you've all been in that situation. And you're looking at yourself in the mirror like, what are they seeing that I am not? I would never wear this piece. If you've experienced that, you know what it means to try something on that could fit perfect, but it's not you. You don't need to just buy things that fit you. You want to buy things that you're going to pull out again, that let you up, that feel like you, that align with the style that you want to achieve. So a big rule when it comes to shopping and trying things on is knowing what you're aiming for. What style are you aiming for? Because you don't want to try on pieces and just buy pieces that fit. That's not the point. So you have to be able to translate what you're trying on to real life. And does this fit my lifestyle? Does this fit how I want to look and feel? Because if it doesn't, don't take that item home with you. I can't even begin to share, like, especially men. Women do it too, just not as, I guess, consistently and not with the majority of their wardrobe like men do. But because men are just on the mission to get some new clothes and they're a little less concerned sometimes of like how it fits and like if it fits them and whatever, they just think like, oh, if something fits, then it must be for me. And okay, I'm just gonna share it. You go into a store, you try on the pant, and you're like, oh my gosh, this pant fits so good. And maybe it's like mediocre, but you think it fits good, and you're like in a hurry, and you don't want to go back to the store or find other pants. And so you're like, can I get that in every color and print it comes in? And then you go home, and it's like, you get stuck with all these pieces. And yeah, maybe it fit, but it's not the best piece that you could find. You were just like on a mission. You just wanted to check this thing off your list without really going into detail about like, will I wear it? Do I actually feel good in it? Should I buy 5 of these same kind of pants in all the colors? It's such an important thing to like think about. You don't need to buy everything that fits you, and you don't need to buy it in every single color. When I work with clients online and in person, it is actually a very similar process. We're kind of like in real time trying things on, seeing how things fit. And maybe when you're making your decisions, it's a little more difficult for you to decide that. And I always tell clients like the number one thing is to ask yourself, does it align with how I want to look and feel? The second thing is, if it's in my closet, am I going to pull this or am I going to pull something else to wear? Those are good defining factors on whether or not you try something on and you should actually keep it or take it home and wear it. So when I'm working with clients, it is really important to talk about fit and be honest with them when they do try things on that maybe it does fit their body, but it doesn't fit them. And when we're working together online, they send photos of themselves, like selfies, trying on the pieces, and they write their comment on like what they like or maybe don't like or what they're thinking about it. And then I get to respond and let them know my honest truth, my honest opinion about it. And even with clients when we're in the fitting room and they're trying things on, it's a lot like right in the moment. So it's like, yeah, you know what, that fits, but I don't think you're going to wear it. And there's describing words that we want to use so that we know what to avoid next time. As much as you want to know what you're aiming for, you also want to learn from the experience as you try things on to know why it doesn't work. So when you try something on that fits, but it doesn't work, try to think of words that come to mind about why. Is it too preppy? Is it too frilly? Is it too boyish? Too trendy? All these describing words are the opposite of what you want to achieve. So don't buy it. Keep that in mind so you know, okay, next time I go shopping, maybe I need to avoid this kind of style because yes, it fits my body type. The color is great, but it's just not me. And that's part of the process of finding your style. The moral of this podcast and this story is just a big reminder about be able to open your mind to try new things, to discover something new. Don't close yourself off. Obviously, if you've already made your list of what works for you and what doesn't, and you've actually tried it on, and so you know that, then definitely go by those rules as you're working through shopping and figuring out what to buy and what your style is and what to wear. But in those moments where you start to feel like you need a refresh, just be open to the process of trying something new, trying something different, because you'll discover another part of yourself that comes out when you get to experience new clothing and new styles on your body. If you're feeling like you need a boost right now, there are so many ways for us to work together. It's such an incredible thing to have all of my styling processes and guides online to help you. So if you're not in Seattle, Washington or Washington State and we can't do this in person, there are options for us to work together online. If you're listening to this in what month, or almost in February, we're in March 2023. You can go myclosetedit.com and you can find more information about the TCE, which is the Closet Edit Insider Club. It's a monthly club that we have where you get access to shopping boards and outfits and events. And there's also Style Refresh, which is one of my favorite online programs I have created. I've been doing it for 3 years. It is only out 2 times a year. And so if it's not for sale right now, get on the wait list so you can find out when it comes out again. But I do it for springtime. It's launched in springtime. It's only on sale for a month. You can only get access to it for a month. And then it's on sale again in fall. So get on the wait list if you're not on the wait list. If it is available to purchase right now, get on top of that, because you get all the guides from the beginning to the end. It's 5 modules on how to go through your closet, figure out what your style is, to the shopping part and figuring out how to shop and where to shop and what to try based on your body, based on your style personality. And then at the end, seeing it come together with outfits head to toe that you can wear. I highly recommend going to myclosetedit.com. Just browse around, find the different ways that we can work together so you can find a solution to refreshing your closet and just feeling your best. Thank you for spending time with me today. If this podcast was helpful, give me a like on YouTube. You can also share your review. It means so much to me when you take the time to share a review, because it helps the podcast keep going. It helps us connect with new people and get us up on the search engine in the podcast area and realm. So please take the time to share your review. I would love to hear what you're learning, and continue building a life and the style that truly reflects you. I'll catch you next time.